Yo, what is going on, guys? So Howie Roseman the last 3 off seasons has had some monster drafts, some monster trades, monster acquisition of players. I think we got to be really thankful for it because, to be honest with you, we are in the golden years for the Philadelphia Eagles. We really are. We are in a different era right now to where we really have to enjoy this ride, and I think this team is Super Bowl caliber. I mean, it just is. And I can't believe I'm saying this because it's just, I know we were just in the Super Bowl last year, but to see that we are in this era of Super Bowls, we're in this era of getting to that game, and I think with the Philadelphia Eagles and the moves that they have done, I think the GM has free roam to do whatever he wants with Howie Roseman, and it's, man, I want to compare this roster to other rosters we've had, not even just that, but certain position groups, certain players I want to talk about. And what I'm really excited for coming to training camp. I understand we have the schedule next week for the Philadelphia Eagles, which plays a major part. And I'm really happy it's going to be a tough schedule too, because you really get to see what this coaching staff's all about as well. Because I don't want to be the paper champs this year. I don't want to just look good on paper. I want to actually have some good coaching. Yes, we won 14 games last year, but when it mattered the most, we just couldn't get it done. And I think coaching was a big problem. Obviously, we know who and why going forward at the end of next year. So at the end of this year. So I'm pretty excited for not even just this year, for years to come, revamping positions and what the Eagles have done. So I want to go over a few things here. Nothing crazy today, but just wanted to note some things I think are pretty important. So other than that, guys, let's get straight into the news.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
All right, I didn't even realize how much of that intro was actually that long. I didn't realize I was getting to 2 minutes and then playing intro. I don't know. Sometimes I just talk way too much and don't realize what I'm doing. It's early. It's, well, not early, but I've been up since 7 o'clock. So I don't know. It's been a crazy day today. But I want to go over a few things. When it comes to the defensive line, I've always, especially defensive end, because I think within the next 2 years, you could be losing three players between Hassan Reddick here this year, next year. Derek Barnett's going after this year, and if Brandon Graham signs another 1-year contract, I don't know, but we'll see. So Nolan Smith is interesting, and I think we've probably gone over a million times. I'm so interested to see the versatility that they're gonna get Nolan Smith into this defense. Sean Desai, I don't know. There has been times where I feel like Nolan Smith will be that pure edge rusher here, and then from what he said in this press conference at rookie minicamp, I feel like there's just a lot more that we don't know. Obviously, we haven't seen Sean Desai in a press conference yet. With Nolan Smith, I understand that as a value that we got him at 30, I think was perfect. Not that I didn't agree with him going at, getting drafted at 10. I just didn't think at that moment that he was going to be the best player available. I said early 20s. I said mid-teens, late teens, somewhere in between then. But at 30 was a very big valued pick for us and a top playmaker in this draft. Obviously, we talk about the 40 times, and yeah, sometimes the combine is overrated at some points, but depending on position, I mean, with Nolan Smith, his defensive end 40 time at the position, obviously the best in 20 years. Yeah, it really shows you, for a guy that maybe he's not 250, 260 pounds, but with good technique and more tools in his toolbox and more he can learn coming to Eagles rookie minicamp and this offseason training camp OTAs and stuff like that. I think it's really going to help him a lot. Tracy Rocker's probably going to get the best out of him, which I'm really excited for. Which Tracy Rocker, I think, has done a really good job here with these defensive linemen as well. And Howie Roseman's moves on top of that it's just been insane. To see the versatility of Nolan Smith, I feel like he will be more of a balance. I would really like him more as an edge rusher because I think Reddick and Nolan Smith just starting in general, I think it's just going to scare teams. Not only that combination, but for those defensive ends, if it's going to be Maybe it won't be Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter starting at the same time. I think you'll maybe have Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, maybe most likely. Who knows? I don't know what the rotation is going to look like until we get into camp and kind of see who they started there first. Until we see the rumors of the beat writers being there and jotting down what they're seeing since we're not there is going to be pretty cool. But when Nolan Smith gets drafted and is compared to the player that he's on the same team as that player, it's pretty cool, okay? Because even with Hassan Reddick, obviously with the technique and that hunter mentality on the edge has been great. Even the way like Nolan Smith was used at Georgia, where they would either put him in pass coverage, but not even that. I loved when Georgia put him, they lined him up way to the outside of the tackle. And, letting Nolan Smith pick his poison with that speed. I mean, literally, like, he would start, he's so fast, guys. Like, he would literally line up on the tackle or maybe a little tiny bit outside, a shade outside. And he sidesteps. As sidestepping as a defensive lineman, if you could sidestep as a defensive lineman and still get pressure easily, that means you got a lot of quickness. That means you got a lot of speed. And with Nolan Smith, I've seen him sidestep and just try to go around somebody with the technique that he uses. It's insane watching his tape and what he could do. And I think I'm not even really worried about it too much. Yes, you're looking for defensive ends with, that are a lot higher in weight. I understand that. I think he will bulk up. I really don't have an issue with it, but I think he is that Hassan Reddick type player and kind of matches that game type ability. I think, I think within another year, I think even Nolan Smith will become a lot better. But it really just depends. Better in the pass rushing, there's no doubt. When it comes to the pass coverage, I'm still trying to figure out what Sean Desai is going to do with him and see what they do. So I really don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. And I think Nolan Smith is going to be one of the top pass rushers within the next, in between this year to next year. I think he'll get a lot of attention. Obviously, he's going to get a lot of attention this year. And I don't think the pressure really phases these guys too much, even though there is a lot of pressure on these guys. You pick two of the top. These guys have to work out at the end of the day. At their first round picks, they should be fantastic and really helping each other out. Because at the end of the day, you draft guys from a back-to-back national championship team that comes from a team that has a standard, that has a culture, and a really strong one. Every college team has a culture, but when you're drafting guys that have won back-to-back championships, it's a totally different mindset what these guys are going to want, and the more hungry they're going to be going into a team like this that was literally just in the Super Bowl last year, which just, you had a 10th overall pick and the 30th overall pick and coming off a Super Bowl. It's unheard of having picks like that and the selections that you're making and how the draft really came to the Philadelphia Eagles. They really didn't have to be aggressive besides getting Keely Ringo, where they kind of moved up a lot for him. In the 7th round, other than that, or 6th round, whatever it was. Other than that, they really didn't do anything that really made me feel like they gave up a lot of picks. Like the move up for Jordan Davis, I thought was they gave up a lot of picks for him. There was a lot. It was some mid-round picks, obviously, but those are picks you could use. Day 3. Whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? So, I like that how he uses those other, that other draft compensation and use it as ammo to move up if you really have to do it. But for this draft, even you move up to get Jalen Carter with a 4th round pick. Who cares? You're getting that pick back regardless. And Nolan Smith fell right into your hands. So I think this is. I'm really excited for. I'm actually really excited for Nolan Smith more than Jalen Carter. As much as I'm a big Jalen Carter fan, Nolan Smith, I want to see what he does on the edge. I'm excited to see how they use the versatility of his speed, because he's got so much speed to a point where I feel like they're going to do a little bit more with him. I think Sean Desai has more. Just more plans for Nolan Smith going forward, and obviously with the teachers, not even just the coach, but the teachers that he's going to have around him, player-wise, man, it's going to be a great situation for him, and very excited for it. Now I want to go to Tyler Steen. I think some guys, I don't know. I see a lot of people on Twitter are still not liking this pick, and I really don't know why. Now, he doesn't play on the right side. Why would you think he's starting at guard? Why do you think? Nick Sirianni did talk about there's going to be competition at right guard. Now, he didn't even say Cam Jurgens is going to start. Never even mentioned Cam Jurgens' name like a few weeks ago. That's Cam Jurgens' job to take and to start. And I mean, if you redshirt Cam Jurgens for another year behind Kelsey, he'll come in as an extra lineman, if a red zone or whatever the case may be, or for field goal, the normal stuff most likely, which he did last year. With Cam Jurgens wasn't even mentioned now, so now I'm starting to think I think they have huge plans for Tyler Steen starting at right guard. Now, if you guys remember, he went to Vanderbilt first and was a right tackle, and then I think his junior year he transferred to Alabama and then switched to a left tackle, and then that was pretty much it. He was the blind side tackle for Bryce Young, and was phenomenal. I mean, he could play left tackle, right tackle, and since he could play the right side, I think the Eagles think that he's got the physical capability to play right guard. From the rumors that we have heard, they think he's got that physical capability, which I definitely do. He's got really good balance. I mean, pass blocking is great. I don't know about the run blocking too much, but his pass blocking is just 100% fantastic, really good. Even Will McDonald, I think, the 14th, 15th overall to the Jets. Okay, the best tackle he faced all year, he said a couple days ago, he said it was Tyler Steen. Tyler Steen, man. I mean, this was a total steal pick. I think futuristically, you could do whatever you want with this guy, because really, if you want to start him at right guard this year, great. Kelsey retires, you put Jurgens there next year, and then, you keep Tyler Steen at right guard, depending on if they draft another offensive lineman, whatever the case may be. And then once Lane Johnson retires in a couple of years, since Lane said, I'll retire in 2 years. So I don't know if he means that or whatever the case may be with that. If he leaves in 2 years, Tyler Steen could move to right tackle immediately. So you could have your future right tackle here, in the building right now. So I have a offensive line wise, even getting the guy from Louisville as an undrafted free agent as well. And he's another guy that I think is going to make the team too, that could play left tackle. So I think realistically, you might have to find another guard next year, or at least draft another guard next year. But realistically, if Kelsey is done after this year, Jurgens moves to center. You could still keep Tyler Steen at right guard, whatever the case may be with that, or maybe you want to make him a backup left tackle. I don't know. There's so many pieces you can move around and so many guys you can cross-train. You have the best offensive line coach in Jeff Stalin. And if you hear from first-round picks of who's the best tackle they face, you hear Tyler Steen's name, that's a really good sign, man. Obviously, you're more Alabama on offense. You're more Georgia on this defense with the Philadelphia Eagles right now. So, there's a lot more that I'm excited for. Offensive line-wise, we're going to be good for years, man. Between the undrafted free agent and getting Tyler Steen, I think you're hitting on some guys right now that's going to make some noise. I think both of those guys will make the team, obviously. But, with some moving pieces, really, left over from an old era. You're down to Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox. That's really it. You're down to those few guys that are left, and that's it. You have a brand new squad. This team within the next couple years, I say by 3 years, this whole entire team will be brand new players. This whole team will be a new era of players since that Super Bowl in 2017, which is kind of nuts. So I'm pretty excited for Tyler Steen. Definitely close watch, especially at training camp, and obviously to see some video and joint practices, all that great stuff, even preseason, the 2 preseason games we have as well. I think everyone should be very excited for Tyler Steen. Very, very excited. You got a starting left tackle from Alabama. That's obviously this is such a move from our offensive line coach and Jeff Stalin. This is a Jeff Stalin move. There's no doubt about it. His name is written all over this. Howie Roseman doesn't even deal with the offensive line. He lets his scouts, obviously, and Jeff Stalin do all the work when it comes to it. So everyone's got to pay more attention to Tyler Steen. He does a lot more than everyone thinks he could do. You potentially got a starting guy with not, the more you know on the offensive line, the more value you have. If you play multiple positions, great. That's awesome. You know what I mean? So especially not even just know more positions. If you can know more positions and still play great, it's even better, man. It's even better at the end of the day, especially for the Philadelphia Eagles. And lastly, I want to go over the Eagles' backfield, okay? And I'm really comparing it to like the last Super Bowl we were in 2017 before last year. You picked up guys like, Clement and Ajayi, LeGarrette Blount was after the draft signing, if you guys remember. Having Gainwell, having Rashad Penny, if healthy, I'll say that, DeAndre Swift, if healthy, is going to be probably the most explosive backfield we have ever seen. And I'm not even kidding. Okay, you got Gainwell that can be used for obviously Gainwell could be used for, the passing game and, is an average runner, but is a good vision. I think what takes Gainwell far is his vision, which is great. And getting DeAndre Swift, man, was just a 25 fourth-round pick. You got him for nothing. A 25 fourth-round pick, 2 drafts later, 2 years later, that pick, we won't even have to worry about that. Okay, and obviously there's been extension talks with Swift, and I think they want to kind of extend him. And I think he's young. You're not picking up 30-year-old running backs. You know what I mean? I think who's the oldest running back we have? It's got to be Boston Scott, I think, unless I'm wrong. Okay, even having Boston Scott, but he'll play full-time special teams. They'll probably keep 4 running backs on this roster, most likely, which some of you guys didn't think so, but I always said we needed another running back, whether it was drafting one high, drafting one later in the draft, or they were going to go out and trade for one. And obviously with the Lions, with acquiring Montgomery and then drafting Gibbs, which I think everyone was shocked at pretty early, it was, DeAndre Swift is the starting running back here. DeAndre Swift wanted to be more of the focal point at Detroit. And because he missed 3 games last year, it was part of, he wanted a bigger role, and he knew he was on the outs at that point. Rashad Penny, if he's healthy 100%, he's the ground for pound running back that's going to do damage. Not even that, but you're going to tire out defenses with these guys, especially Rashad Penny. Use Rashad Penny as a finisher in this backfield. Get those defensive lines, these defenses tired. Keep them on their heels. Between the read option with Jalen Hurts, and especially, I'm so excited to see how much it opens these lanes for DeAndre Swift, because the last time DeAndre Swift was with a mobile quarterback was literally high school. DeAndre Swift has never been with a mobile quarterback. Okay, those read options, those RPOs, it's going to be really dangerous to see. Look, Penny and DeAndre Swift can cut on a dime, especially DeAndre Swift. Okay, he can cut on a dime and maintain 100% speed while jump cutting somebody. It's insane. His elite vision, him in the passing game, the screen game. It's unstoppable. Between the offensive line, the tight ends, just these wide receivers you have, and the competition in that position for the depth wise on the camp front of what's going on there. You could distribute the ball so well this year where you can not only keep everybody healthy, but keep everybody fresh. You're not tiring out one guy throughout the whole entire game, okay? Could there be a weakness to a defense where they maybe use one running back more than the others? Yeah, sure, it could happen. But obviously you have some injury history with DeAndre Swift. You have injury history with Rashad Penny right now. You got Rashad Penny for nothing. You got DeAndre Swift for nothing. Okay, you got Penny for nothing at $600,000 guaranteed because He only played 5 games last year. Okay, Penny is a dominating running back. Penny is a bully on the field. When he gets that open space, I mean, he's burnt. The last time the last time the Eagles faced Seattle, he destroyed us. The last time the Eagles faced DeAndre Swift last year, first game, he had some good runs on us. Okay, so putting them behind this offensive line, and if they're healthy, if it's a big if, guys. Okay, it's gonna be the most explosive backfield we've ever seen. It's going to make Miles Sanders going to the Panthers, getting paid $6 million a year, look like nothing. Because I think DeAndre Swift is better than Miles Sanders. I think Rashad Penny is better than Miles Sanders. I think Miles Sanders is better than Gainwell. But I love Miles Sanders. Was one of my favorite players on this team. I knew they weren't going to resign him. I knew they weren't going to pay him. They could have afforded him easily. It's just the Eagles don't value this position. They would rather acquire a running back on a trade that's a low-risk, high-reward move, give away a nothing-type draft pick that means absolutely nothing, or just signing a guy to less money and extending him. They would rather extend a running back during the year if they really want. Okay? And I think they want to get something done with Swift. Rashad Penny will play for himself, most likely. Gainwell's contract is dwindling down year by year. He's got 2 years left. I don't even know, whatever the case may be. So Eagles going to have to make some decisions with this backfield for the future. After this year, we'll see. I think DeAndre Swift will be a 1,000-yard rusher this year. I think DeAndre Swift will be a top 5 back this year. If 100% healthy, he will be a top 5 back. And he will play with a chip on his shoulder. He's coming back home. I think Penny could do almost the same thing. I'm not saying that 2 guys are going to get 1,000 yards, but one or the other, someone's getting 1,000 yards this year. And it could be one of those two. Rashad Penny, I just don't know. Like I said, I wasn't comfortable with this running back core with just Penny, Scott, and Gainwell, because I don't know if I could trust. I don't know if I could trust Rashad Penny staying healthy for 17 games. That's just the truth. So I'm very excited for this backfield. I think I think when you want to compare this to the Super Bowl year in 17, it's overkill. It's overkill. This running back core is more explosive than what we ever had. To be honest, like even having LaShawn McCoy by himself, and he was a fantastic player. But this, as a group, it's one of the most dangerous. That's what I got to say about that. But other than that, that's pretty much it. I know it's a long video. I know nothing much, but I like to really dive deep into these positions, dive deep into the players and what we can really expect. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Training camp's going to be a lot of fun. Looking at the schedule is going to be a lot of fun, and reminiscing on what the record could be and all that great stuff. So we're over 22 minutes in this video. It's kind of nuts. If you guys lasted this long, blab enough about the Eagles already, you subscribe to the channel if you guys have it. More Eagles content every single day. And if you guys haven't liked the video, please like the video, where we will be doing more of these in the coming days to training camp and all of that great stuff. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. The Philadelphia Eagles are great. We are in the golden era. This is a great time to be a Philadelphia Eagle fan, and very excited for it. You guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, shakes what up, follow side. Peace out, guys. Peace.